Disclaimer. This is not an attempt to form a cult. This information has not been confirmed or denied. This is just an opinion of my observation. What's up, folks? Y'all see the monkey paw. I'm going to get right into it. My explanation of Us. Get Out. Jordan Peele has basically just let us know that he's just going to give it to us raw and uncut, and I'm ready for it. Black people, I'm talking to us. Yes, African Americans, I'm talking to us. This is America, folks. And what we all know is black people have been sold and sold and traded throughout time. Get Out shows us about a black guy, or a white family rather, that kidnaps black people and they auction them off. They sell them just like they did in the slave times. They sold us off. Just because of our talents, what we can give them. This particular guy was his eyes. He got sold to a photographer. He was going to give him his brain. And they used certain things, white women, different things to distract our black men. Yeah, white people want to control us. Us Explained, basically, this is his second movie. And I just want y'all to look at the America. Hands Across America situation. Basically, it was a campaign. And they did this campaign to raise money. Their goal was $50 million. They really did $51 million. It cost $17 million. They got $34 million. But the government was behind it. If you see this situation, and the little boy said, I just want a home where it's people, but it's just us. You know, it was the campaign. Y'all remember the song, We Are the World, We Are the Children. That was the campaign. That was in the 80s. The movies Us starts in 1986. So we will get back to that. But the government knows how to manipulate us. And basically this campaign was for the homeless, to feed the homeless. Africa, USA, Africa was the group that all formed of the artists that did the We Are the World. And so this was a campaign where they would join hands across America, and we would all be one and united. But it didn't work. It didn't work at all. You see, in 1980s, Thriller came out. Michael Jackson, that was one of the nods, the Easter eggs inside of the film. He had a lot of Easter eggs inside of the film, and you got to look for it. You can find it. But America the Great, 1980s, Ronald Reagan. It was a good time for black people. It was a good time for women being free, finally being able to do a lot of things. We've come a long way. We were able to vote. We were able to do a lot of things. The black people was coming up in the 1980s, you know, and the government has always ruled the world. So they use us. You know, it's the Democrats against the Republicans. That's what the red and the blue, you know, represents. But it was a time that, like they said, we seen peace coming in 1980. So the government had to do something. Because guess what? They still needed to control us. They've sold us. They've sold black people. They sold African Americans throughout time and through history. They used them for our talents, our gifts. And that was the reason why we were sold. So they had to use us. We were guinea pigs, like the rabbit and us. We were guinea pigs. And the young lady, you know, basically it shows you when she came back to get her life, she felt like was stole because she was guided. She was guided down to a mirror where she seen a reflection of herself. And she choked that person. She let that person live. Jeremiah 11 was the main focus in this because 11 is the duality. It's two of us. Her son, he had a gift as well. In this scene, he sees a man with blood that's stretched out like Jesus. And basically, in Jeremiah 11, it says, therefore, this is what the Lord says. I will bring on them a disaster, and they cannot call on me, or I will not hear them. So basically, the only people we have to face is ourselves. That's the only person that's going to help us is if we face ourselves. We all got good and evil. That's the duality, good versus evil. We always told it was going to be this way. And we always have the good versus the bad side. and this is us, United States Americans. But I want you to know I'm talking to black people, because see, what Jordan Peele has told us, that black people is a big focus, the monkey paw. They always use the monkey paw, and they're right now hypnotizing you with the spoon. That's what he does, so you can wake up. But we're waking up to something that you wouldn't even imagine us is actually about. He's waking black people up. He's showing us how white people uses us and how they try to control us, and they want our mind. So he's basically hiding in plain sight what we're really good to do with our shadows. Our shadows are things that we're insecure of and our flesh. But we also have a Holy Spirit. We have an intuition that tells us right from wrong. So it's a duality. It's always two. 11 symbolizes the principles of spiritual enlightenment, awakening, and is a reminder from our angels. When an angel sends a message, master number is 1111. They're sending you inspiration, encouragement, develop spiritual beings. We have taken a form on this material world to find out our purpose. Many of us have no idea what our purpose is, but we have guardian angels. And 11 represents a master number that resonates at a high vibration. If number 1 is about leadership and encouragement, if it's magnified to 2, guess what? Oh my God, that's big. We are basically vibrating at the highest level. So it repeats itself. 11, 11, 11, 11, 111, it gets bigger. The importance is that we keep our eyes open to all possibilities, because our guardian angels is always showing us and giving us necessary needs when we help it or need it back to us. That's still ourself. That's the duality, the two people. 11, 11. The little boy seen Jesus. He had a sight. He had a vision. He was able to see that. When God was saying, I'm coming back, his disaster's about to happen, get ready. That's why the little boy knew he was ready. And he seen that sign. He knew when it called him over there. He didn't get snatched up. He was gifted. He was gifted with the knowledge to know that something is about to happen. My intuition is telling me, because he had an intuition just like his mother. The little girl had an intuition like her mother too. That's why she knew the government was putting fluoride in our water to control us. But like she said, nobody's interested in the end of the world. But the end of the world is very near, because God is showing you, Jeremiah 11, I'm coming back. And guess what? Y'all ain't going to be able to call nobody. Y'all can't escape from this period. And then you cry, I'm not going to hear you. You're going to have to face yourself, your dual personality. So she knew it was always going to come. That's why she did not want to go back to the beach. But she's a submissive wife, a good wife to her husband. So guess what? He wanted to go to the beach. She went to the beach to meet this family, this white family. And she knew it was coming. A time where they had to face themselves. She knew something was in it. I mean, she seen the first thing when she got to town, the man that carried the 1111 sign, he died, and he was still holding 1111 signs. So these was all the signs that God was showing that it was time for her to face her duality. The person that was made underground, the government had made that person underground with no soul, exactly, and she was living above ground with a soul. And at that time, he brought them two together for them to switch places. Listen, black people, switch places. So she went down with the soul. She went up without a soul. However, God is in control, people. So God showed the lady that was above ground what to do. She got her a good, nice little husband. He go to Howard, you know what I'm saying? He got a nice little bank going on, but his problem, he be competing with the white man too much with the boats. He worried about money. He worried about materialistic things. But hey, black men, they're taught to just protect and provide for their family. So he had to face that later on. Of course, he was going to face his demon. And then the little girl, you know what I'm saying, she had to face her little demon. They all had to face their demon. But what it comes out to, the mama is still in the forefront. The mama is the one that's taking care of the kids. Because once that man got hit in his leg, he really was no good for nothing. He made all the mama made all the decisions because she had the wisdom. He was still like, what do y'all want? Y'all want my wallet? Y'all can take the boat? I don't care. She was like, look. They don't want none of it. Even the little girl was like, Daddy, it's not about this. It's the end of the world. The daddy still didn't know. He was still blind to the facts, okay? He was blind to the fact that these people was here for they felt like they owed their life. They was down there in the dark. They had to eat raw meat. They didn't get a chance to look at themselves, feed themselves strawberry like the mama was eating strawberry. They was the government was put in mind. This happened in 1986, 33. That's when God supposed to had died. Y'all remember that? When God was supposed to had, or Jesus supposed to had died, came back. He was crucified at 33. So this symbol of him seeing the man with the hand and the blood, that's Jesus, the cross. It said we don't know for sure the exact age that Jesus, when he died, when he was crucified, but he was probably 33 years old. So that's always been in the test of time. So the white man is still in control of the world. He knows that the black people have something, they're special. They have a gift. We need to get them. That's why he's telling black people to get out as the white man. He's not looking, and all the white people are looking, and they see them as a puppet, as a puppeteer, and they thought they was going to be able to create a person, but they didn't create a soul, and we share a soul. We had a good side and a bad side, so basically, that's why he made a time in life where those two girls supposed to meet. Now, I got 5 on it. Grab your phone, let's get a key. We talk about some weed. He was like, no, that is not a drug song. That's a dope song. It's still about drugs. That song came out in 1995. 2 + 4 = what? 5. Crack cocaine came out in 1985. The name of crack, it was just because of the way it sounds. That's the reason why they called it crack. Nothing more than nothing, nothing less. 1985, that's when it hit New York, baby. 1985, that's when crack came out in 94, but 85, it went to New York. It went kind of crazy. And then, unfortunately, it made the users blind. Desperation for more, they just went out, they became crackheads. They was controlled by their mind, the devil. Every time they looked in the mirror, and pushed them, the deities, they wanted the crack. I got to go get the crack. They on a rampage. This guy, he was only 17, he ended up killing 5 people on New Year's Day. But it got the police watching. That was the thing. They thought it was going to control them. They had the police out. But it got out of control. We was killing each other. It just got bad. So guess what? That's what happened. The government said, forget it. I abandon this project. I abandon it. I abandon this project. So they went mad down there. And he made it in time for those 2 little girls to meet. That's why she was seen when it was time for her to go up there, and it was time for her to go down there. God made that at the time, the whole Thriller shirt with the duality, Michael Jackson, the Thriller. He was the good person, he was the wolf, but then when he looked back at the camera, he was still the bad guy. He had the nasty eyes. 7. It's a godly number. God just trying to show us, about him. He's saying, I'm coming back. Y'all need to see. Bible in the 7th Old Testament, it was created on the 6, it took him 6 days. The 7th day he rests. That's why it's a holy number. It's a highly spiritual number that's associated with your intuition, your inner wisdom, your deep inner knowing about yourself. So God is saying, I want y'all to get closer to me because look, 11:11, you need to face yourself. The devil, he's out here. Okay? You need to face yourself, which one you're going to do. We have dimensions. Are you going to live in a 3 dimension, the 3D dimension where you just see, or are you going to believe in me? Which I'm over here chilling in like the 5D dimension. You got to get more spiritual to be able to really, really, connect with me. That's why they say the 3rd dimension is more solid. You can feel it. It's a lightness to it. You can stick. It's in your mind. It's in your memory. It's the 3rd dimension. We live in the 3rd dimension. What they really say is the inhabited dimension that we're living in. But the 5th dimension, it remains a debate. But many believe it could represent an undefined or unknown dimension in space and unknowable to humans. But the 5th dimension is the space that we have 5 dimensions and interpret physically as more spiritual dimension. We can ascend. It's the highest ascension to earth of all beings living on the planet are shifting into a whole new level in reality, which our consciousness puts us in higher vibration for love and for peace and for joy to, really just basically get in tune with ourselves, get in touch with God. We live in the 3D dimension, which you constantly interact with objects in the height and the depth. But the 5D dimension, you can shift. This 5D dimension means that you are resonating on your highest vibration. That's your reality. You're really in touch with God. And if you get in touch with God, you see the magic in the back. You see guess who? You figure out which one you could control. That's why the little boy was able to control his spirit and had him to do what he wanted him to do because he was in touch with himself. Jesus had came to him and he knows that he's touched. He wasn't the bad guy. That little boy wasn't weird. He was just touched. He knew about God, just like she had an open mind when she was down there with all the crazy people. That's why half them people look crazy. They was on crack. It was 1986. It was the crack era. There's a lot of things going on down there underground, under the world, where the government feel like they do that to us, United States. This is America. 322, that's when the movie came out. It also means the 3 Masons, the highest Freemasonry, all of that. You feel what I'm saying? That's what George Bush, all of them. You can go back and you can look. I leave these things, skull and bones. Yes, it is definitely a lot of satanic stuff, but guess what? They hide in plain sight. God gives us still a choice, good, bad. And so even though you see George W. Bush and they became president, they went to the government, you know what I'm saying? Different things. You can go back and look. I'll leave all resources so you can actually read. 1983, look, Michael Jackson dropped Thriller. It's funny how it says 3D right there. You know, if you look at all of these things, that's when he was showing the duality himself, the good, the wolf, but he was still the bad person. Black people, we just need to get out. We need to raise our vibrations because our families, they were addicted to crack. They were, you know, they were mentally disturbing to us. We are dealing with childhood emotions, living in those 3D dimensions, and it's a habit of what's comfortable to us. But if we get into our 5D, we can actually shift all of those things and be resonating at a high level. Our vibrations and our energy are in line with spirit. Look at the things that happened this year. He died at 33. Nipsey Hussle, if you look at all the people that came out, but Nipsey Hussle was getting ready to discuss with the police. Fuck the police. Remember the song that came on? Because he was showing and telling us, John Witherspoon, he taught men to be strong. Like, listen, y'all can live to fight another day. You got to flip-flop that shit. He never switched. And we want to raise the black man so that the woman doesn't always have to be strong. And you need to understand, if you know that your wife or your woman can give you some knowledge and wisdom because that's what she's given, then you can follow her. You know what I'm saying? In 9/11, which happened, if you add 4 and 1 equals 5, he's telling us the fifth dimension. 9/11 was all over that thing. That was something that the government, they're still hiding in plain sight. But guess what? Now it's a different time. God is arisen. And that's why the good actually won in this movie. The bad didn't win. You see, she went and found a good life for herself. That girl was still evil down there. She needed to die, even though she learned the good dancing, and I got 5 on it was crazy, but we need to look in ourselves. And guess what? The best person who won 2019, Omarion, he ain't let the drama and anything distract him. He just cut their ass out, and he got on that tour. Y'all take a look at this 9/11 and see what happened that day. I got 5 on it. What you got? I'm right here with it. He told that man 11 words. Look at yourself. I guess they watch yourself. Stop looking at everybody else. Stop paying attention. See what your purpose is, your focus is, what you supposed to do. How you get out of here. God gave all of us the way out of here. How you gonna get out? That's why she said, let's go to Mexico. It won't no organized underground railroads, but they trying to build a wall. You know what I'm saying? To talk about the Mexicans need to get out. They didn't put, no, they building that wall so we can stay in. Y'all need to open and expand your mind and figure out, you know, what you gonna do, what your purpose is gonna take you farther than just keeping you here. And guess what? They said if the people underground rise up together, they knew that girl under there was special and could follow them. But black people won't follow the person because they done turned us against ourselves. We be like, oh no, forget her. Y'all always comparing and hating and everything. I'm gonna do another video where I'm gonna really go through the ending, but I just wanted to break it down in numbers. We're talking about 9/11. Like I said, that whole number equals 5. He said, I got 5 on it, the fifth dimension. Get out of the 3D. Step into yourself. Face your shadow. Face the person that you're hiding behind. So that's the only person that we fear is ourselves, for real. We are our own worst enemies, black people. And drugs played a big part. We, you know, self-medicate. I'm guilty. But that's what I'm saying. We face our shadow. And one thing about me, I've always faced my shadow. That's why people can't stand me. Because they're like, oh my God. You know, they think it's about being holy, but it's not. Like, well, it kind of is because it's the Holy Spirit. Like, yeah, I am close to God. I'm going to stop denying it. How about that? That's what he's saying, though. He's telling black people, this is the way we get out. We are already connected to the Spirit. That's all we had was God. I mean, white people traded us, made us compete against each other. We want shit. That's why the dark-skinned girl they're showing, it always used to be the light-skinned girl. But I'm sorry, like the dark-skinned black woman has suffered a lot. The dark-skinned man, too. The man has to. And so God is just raising black people up, period. And don't miss your plane. This is just the beginning. Now I found my purpose, like how I even was introduced to YouTube for the bullshit that happened on March 21st. That's why I see us, because it came out on the 22nd. My show was the 21st with T.S. Madison and them, all the bull crap that happened throughout my whole life. I'll get into some more videos of that, but God didn't want me to see us until now because nobody's talking about it no more, and I'm here to talk about it. I'm going to keep talking about it. I mean, it won 2019. Shout out to my girl, Kayla Nicole. She did to another black